The economic hardships in Russia due to the war in Ukraine are causing increasing anger among the country's population, especially in the country's far eastern regions. The population is responding with mass protests against the attempts of Vladimir Putin's government to finance the war in Ukraine by raising taxes and tariffs. In this case, the Russian government is pushing back the introduction of increased recycling fees for passenger cars with engine power over 160 HP by another month. The Ministry of Industry and Trade announced this. The new tariffs will come into effect on December the 1st, not November, the Ministry of Industry and Trade reported. This is the second time the government has postponed this initiative, which has sparked relatively significant protests in the Far East due to the sharp increase in the cost of imported cars. The postponement was once again explained as taking into account the interests of those car buyers who had previously ordered their cars and were awaiting delivery. Otherwise, they would have to pay an additional fee of several 100,000 to several million rubles to use the car they had already purchased. Officials again emphasized that the sharp increase in recycling fees should not affect a large group of people, as cars with engine power below 160 horsepower account for up to 80% of the vehicle market. However, car owners in Russia's Far East, where mass protests against the government's initiative have already taken place and are planned, categorically disagree with this logic. Many in the region make money by importing cars into Russia. In Vladivostok, for example, communists are attempting to secure approval for a second mass rally of 500 people, but the mayor's office is refusing, citing the fact that United Russia members will be holding a rally on the topic of fighting racism at the same time at the designated location. But the Vladivostok mayor's office refused to allow the communists to hold a new mass rally against the recycling fee in Vladivostok on November the 9th. As reported, the reason is that another rally, a United Russia rally, has allegedly already been scheduled for this location, and it's on a completely different topic: the fight against racism and fascism. And the communists were not offered any other meeting places at all. The applicants, Primorsky Krai Legislative Assembly Deputy Alexander Sustov and District Deputy Oleg Grigoriev, reported the refusal. As a reminder, when explaining the rationale behind the tariff increases, the Ministry of Industry and Trade stated that there were measures to support Russian automakers, primarily Avtovaz, a key enterprise in the Samara region, which had already switched to a 4-day work week due to a demand crisis. But even more outraged were Minister Alikhanov's statements that the new tariffs would support Chinese automakers who had decided to organize screwdriver production of their cars in Russia, creating jobs there. At the same time, there is no recycling fee procedure for cars in Russia as such, despite the existence of a tariff.
Thousands of Serbian students spent Thursday night on the streets of Indija protesting against autocratic President Aleksandar Vučić. According to Associated Press, the students set up small encampments on the streets and slept in tents or on mattresses after authorities declined to provide shelter. Jovana Nazevic, a student from Belgrade, said sleeping outside was worth it. Mina Lazic, a student from Valjevo, told the Associated Press that she felt rested and ready to continue marching. "I think this pain we had today is nothing compared to our goals. We spent the night in the tent, in this pedestrian walking zone. It was better than what we expected," she said. The protesters had embarked on a 2-day march from Belgrade, aiming to join a major rally in the country's north this weekend that will mark the anniversary of a deadly train station disaster. On November 1, 2024, a concrete canopy collapsed at the central train station in Novi Sad, killing 16 people. The tragedy has unleashed a youth-led protest movement against Vučić. Protesters believe the victims died because government corruption led to sloppy renovation work at the station. They have been demanding accountability for the disaster, and an early parliamentary election that they hope will oust Vučić's populist government from power.